But yeah, I love the weather in San Diego, though. It was so nice. Like, imagine never, ever having to worry about wearing anything other than shorts and maybe a light hoodie. Let's see. Do you live in California? Not anymore. I used to. I grew up there for 5.5 years. I was born in Minnesota, moved to New Mexico, then California, North Carolina, Massachusetts, New York, Kansas, and then now Oregon. I've lived all over the place. But I am close to California. I want to go down to the Redwoods as soon as I'm vaccinated. Have a nice little vacation with Shell. Yeah, isn't San Diego in the desert? It's kind of like, it's arid. I wouldn't say San Diego is necessarily desert. But it's definitely more, like, if you go out a little bit away from the landscaping, it's definitely more, like, arid and scrubbish. Yeah, Kentucky is cheap, even in Louisville. Yeah, but I don't think I could ever, I don't think I could stand Kentucky. I think the next place I go to would be, like, Minnesota or Pennsylvania or something. Or Vermont. I think I'd want to end up in Vermont. I'm just worried that there is not going to be enough interesting things in Vermont for me. Like, plenty of hiking, yes, but not enough food or internet or culture. Consider the rest of Kentucky to be a completely different state from Louisville. I could understand that. Let's see. So you're saying there's more room for almonds to be farmed? It would destroy so much of California. Like, their natural waterways are already taxed enough. Let's see. What is your tax? So Oregon doesn't do sales tax. They just do income tax. Whoops. Oh, you know what? Quick, before we get invaded, let's reset it to daytime. The weakest part about this game is purely just the combat. It's not bad. Wait. Oh no, now I'm under attack. The timer went away, and the warning went away. Now it's red. Here we go. At it with these nerds attacking my house. Okay, this one's coming for me. Kind of. I think actually just surrounding my house with walls made it very difficult for them to want to come my direction. Ooh. Nope. Despite the coloration, it's still same old, same old. And yeah, they did manage to actually get through the walls. But, oh well. Let's see, how's this game so far? I was thinking about getting it earlier, but a little wary of early access. It is early access. I honestly am not feeling it too much. I think the early access is mostly going to be an issue of lack of available content. You know, easiest way to describe this game, it reminds me of Volcanoid's early access. Which is to say, enjoyable, limited content, and a little clunky. Didn't know California almond farms were responsible for mass bee deaths. Huh. I didn't know that one either. I know pesticides in general have been bad for it, but I didn't realize that almond farms were. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot. Can always come back to it in a few months. Yeah, I think that's a healthy way of thinking about it. Though, flip side, you could also just easily come back to it when it's done, and get a better experience. I don't know. Early access is weird. There's a lot of games that I will champion that are in early access, and there's a lot of games that I'll just be kind of tepid on. This one I'm kind of mixed on, just because it's like, it's just kind of more of the same. Which isn't necessarily bad, it's just kind of like, I've seen this, I've done this before, but it's fun anyway. They rent 1.5 million colonies of bees with something like a 12% fatality rate. Cripes. But yeah, as much as I like the idea of almond milk and milk alternatives, I don't think I will ever good conscience go after in good conscience drink almond milk. I think I might do a video at some point just talking about like milk alternatives, seeing as there are so many of them that I do like. I think I might sit down and just be like, and here's almond milk. This will literally be the only almond milk I ever buy because of this exact reason. Okay, so let's put away the axes. I might keep some pickaxes with me, but not all of them. Let's use this as a tool chest if I can. Let's see. There we go. Saw a video recently about how bad PETA is. Surprised you. PETA is one of those companies that like masquerades as a group of people doing good for the world, but instead, I don't know what happened to PETA, and like it'd be really interesting to see it'd be interesting to see like an expose, if that exists. And my bet is no expose has been made because they'd probably get Sue happy or something crazy like that. But PETA seems like one of those companies that started as like kind of an ideal. You know, hey, we're going to save animals and, you know, try and change society for the betterment of, you know, pets and animals and whatnot. And then, for some reason, they lost their goddamn minds and just turned into kind of this horrid organization. It's like half of their stuff is purely just shock value, trying to spook people into somehow listening to them. You know, I don't know if you guys saw the Pokemon parody game they made years ago that was just like the laughingstock of the internet. But for those of you that don't know, like, PETA, for example, will run animal shelters, and most of them are just like heavy kill shelters. Yeah, Salvation Army is another great, awful organization that a lot of people think is great. Yup. Salvation Army, gosh. What specifically? I know they're firmly anti-gay, which is one. It was around the time they decided that adopting strays from kill shelters and euthanizing them was better than creating a giant national no-kill shelter. It was the last job for me. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Illuminati's talked about PETA. Can recommend. Yeah, I've actually been watching her stuff, mostly to kind of study how she does, video essays, because I want to get into that myself. Not necessarily those topics, but something... I guess my ultimate aim would be something something akin to in the range of Jim Sterling, but considerably less controversy chasing ish. But yeah, Shell really likes Illuminati and listens to her often. Oh, you know, there's probably a backpack that you can get. That's what it is. Okay, first and foremost, though, let's go double check, see if I can make a helmet or something. Let's see, that's not the armor table. Armor table. No, we need another yellow before I can get to that. Alright, in that case, it's time to adventure. So I'm here. We want to head for question mark things. Let's Let's go this direction first. It's close. It's just up the road from me. And might have what I'm looking for. Let's see. Wander, were you talking about Pokemon Black and Blue? Probably, yeah. It was like a weird thing where Ash Ketchum was like a creepy, deviant, abusive dude. Which, like, okay, to be fair, Ash Ketchum is kind of messed up. But I would say much of Pokemon society is kind of screwed up. And I think there is actually a valid commentary on how messed up, like, the Pokemon universe is. And to some degree, I would actually really like to play some Pokemon games that are much less about combat and much more about leveraging Pokemon's natural abilities for something a little bit more productive than beating the shit out of other people's Pokemon. Because I think there's actually some really cool potential for, like, I don't know, Stardew Valley-esque thing. I know there's a couple other Monster Collection farm-raising games. Specifically, oh gosh. Why can I not brain this one? Oh, you can't go into this one. Oh. Oh well. Nope, can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, so we want to go up here. Perfect. Rune Factory. I know Rune Factory lets you use monsters as kind of as farm animals and less for combat. And I think that would actually be really cool from a let's see, really cool from like a Pokemon perspective if they actually had a couple games go that direction. Yeah, Pokemon is like a glorified underground rooster fight, but it's like it has a it kind of is like, yeah, but it's all wholesome and everybody loves each other and power of friendship. And it just always feels super creepy to me, especially after X and Y where they added the whole thing of like they held on because they love you, and it's just like, holy shit, this is messed up. That, you know, I was more fine with it when it was this kind of like impersonal just battle, but the moment it would have like you know, so and so looks at you expectantly, so and so like you know, is hanging on for you, and it's just like, I don't like that. Don't do that to me. Let's just put away the stone. I don't need it. I'm mostly here for the skill books and the scrap. Anything that I can't just mine. Let's see. I really need a backpack. You know, honestly, at this point, we should actually probably just go... No, I want to get a little bit more stuff. Is that just coal? That's just coal. Let's just drop it. What else do we get rid of? I don't know. I just want books. Like, everything else I can just get. But books are rare. Books and red flowers. Let's see. Older monster hunters had you befriend palicos to work on your farms. Huh. I mean, yeah, now they just kind of give you the palicos. Back to PETA, though. Someone steals my dog and kills it. Be going to prison for 40 years or so. I mean, yeesh. But yeah, I've read about a lot of, like, weird, crazy PETA people. And, like, it just doesn't seem like a healthy organization top to bottom. I think there's a lot like that, and I think it's kind of one of those that gives activism a bit of a bad name, where it's just like, you have all these people that their cause might have been just once upon a time, but it's almost kind of corrupted by either greedy people or awful people that just kind of take over and push some kind of new narrative. Let's just move a bunch of these over. Because I care not for almost any of these things. Because it's all just resource... Okay, Crystal Mace I will take. It's all just resources that I already have, like, dozens of. So it's like, I have a recording of the owner saying she doesn't believe people and animals should live together at all. Yeah. And it's like, I can kind of understand that just because humans are kind of extremely harmful. A lot. But in a lot of cases, that just means... Well, in their case specifically, it just means, like, animal abuse. Just kill the animals and just remove them from people's lives and just, like, that's the limit. And that's confusing. Yeah, Team Plasma equals Speedo. Was I the only one that had thought that? No, that was very much on the nose. And I actually... Team Plasma is the only organization, like, villainous organization in Pokemon that I think I've ever sympathized with. Okay, Team Shout, too, I guess. But that's just because Team Shout was literally not a villainous organization. They were just there to cheer on Marnie and get her to win no matter what. Which actually was quite heartwarming, but not exactly... There wasn't a whole lot of stakes in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Even the villains of, like, the DLC were just dumb. Right, I'm trying to stay away from that word. To bring back Team Rocket. Yeah, it's like, at least Team Rocket was just kind of generic. But you know what Team Rocket was about. They were there to make a profit. And they were going to be soulless and evil and just kind of shitty about it. But that was their modus operandi, and that's all they needed. I've heard almost nothing but bad things about Sword and Shield story. It was just... It wasn't a story, really. Like... I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but it just, like, it felt weak. Like, there was barely any characterization. The villains were just kind of bizarre. And they need to give Marnie her own game. She was by and far the runaway character for that game. Yeah. It's... Because, like, the big issue is the main rival just kind of had weird... Well, I don't know. I'd have to sit down. Want to play Sword and Shield? I have to search YouTube for it. Yep. Yeah, I played Sword and Shield, full series on it. We didn't do the DLC. And might never? I don't even know. After the post-game content, I was just super checked out on that game, and I don't think it'll be easy for me to come back. Okay, so we picked up some more tools. Let's see, I've still got a billion pickaxes I should get rid of. And rocks, and... Yeah, look at all this stuff that I kind of can't use. Are there rocks here? Yeah. I'm gonna have to make a chest just to hold all of this scrap. I can't believe at the beginning of this I was like, man, I don't have a whole lot of scrap. How am I ever going to make anything? And the answer is now, how the hell am I going to store all this scrap? I don't know what to do with myself. Okay. Stop making fabric, too. Because I don't think that's helping me. Okay. Red crystal, blue crystal. We've got almost everything packed away, actually. Organization! It's important! Love Hop, because that's me playing Pokemon. What do you mean my team sucks? Spend days brooding over a good team. I think Hop was okay. I think he just didn't get enough time to shine, maybe. Or maybe he was just that much of a jobber. I'd have to think about it. I wanted to do like a thing where I sat down and talked about why Sword and Shield just felt very... something. I don't even know what was necessarily wrong with it. I think it was just kind of a long laundry list of some things that was kind of wrong with Sword and Shield. And so it wasn't necessarily that any one thing stood out. It was more of just kind of an overall feeling of like, this could have been really good, but the Pokemon team has been... I honestly want to say that Pokemon has... the Pokemon team has been checked out on making Pokemon games for ages. And, like... Sword and Shield feels like it was made by people that kind of want to do other things, and I mean, they even tried to make another game. It wasn't lazy, it felt burnt out, and it had a lot of, like, really good ideas, but the implementation on all of them was weak. You know, every single area was small. Gosh. How many of you guys played the game, and remember, like, the Fairy Forest, for example? Because there was the forest leading up to, like, the secret fairy town or whatever it was. And my biggest problem with that area was that it was, like, two very small zones. And, like, every cave was two very small things. Power Cube. Oh, we found a UFO. Ha! And so, like, there wasn't actually much of a feeling of, like, you could explore anything. It was just like, you walk down a pathway, you fight a couple of Pokemon, then you reach the next town, and you almost kind of forget about the area that you just went through unless you wanted to catch something specific. And, like, they had this big open world section that was just kind of nothing. Like, there wasn't anything going on there. There was just a lot of cool Pokemon to potentially catch, which actually was pretty cool. And I'm really looking forward to... is it Pokemon Arceus? Is that straight up what they named it, or do they have a new name for it? Beyond Arceus. And so I'm really hoping with that one that they actually really managed to go full ham and, like, make the open world into something truly special. Pokemon Legends Arceus. There we go. Because, yeah, if they can actually pull that off and make that into something really expansive and fun to explore, I'd love it. But... I think mainly Sword and Shield just felt like it was running the risk of theme parking maybe a little too hard. Why am I picking up all this scrap metal? And all this scrap stuff? Like, I'll just put it there. We're here for books and nothing else. If you created your own Pokemon game, what would it be like? Honestly, if I could go full-on silly with it, I would actually have... I'm gonna say RimWorld, but with Pokemon instead of survivors. Make it considerably less punishing, but you're kind of like out on this frontier area, building up a settlement. You know, maybe Professor blah 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 has recruited you and, like, a bunch of other people to go out and build a new kind of Pokemon Gym League, something like that. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon style. Not necessarily. Just in terms of, like, you have this kind of big wild area to work around, but there's nothing there. I would actually say, what is that? Leak seeds. Hard to care. How many of you guys played Digimon World 1? Probably not a lot of you. It was kind of a niche game, played really strangely, so on and so forth. But yeah, Pokemon kind of in the style of Digimon World 1, where you have this, like, expansive world to explore, and you're more trying to build up structures and resources, and find new people to, like, populate the area. So, for example, maybe even in the beginning, you don't have a Pokemon Center. And so if you want to heal your Pokemon, you straight up have to, like, make your own potions via whatever. Same thing with Pokeballs. Like, you have to do the whole... What were the berries called? I forget the name of them. But you'd actually have to make your own Pokeballs manually. Because... you know, maybe occasionally the professor drops by with like a shipment of whatever you need. You can ask him for some stuff. Say if you're kind of running low on this or that. But otherwise you're kind of on your own. You can only you can only have what you make by hand. Pokemon are a little harder to catch, and so it's much more of a struggle getting the ones that you need. So, for example, you can't just go out and, like, fight and catch a Tauros. You have to actually, like, hunt down a Tauros and, like, figure out where it is and like, its habits. And maybe even to the point where you have to, like, convince it to stick around because, you know, your Pokeball isn't just kind of the end-all, be-all. But you actually have to, you know, give it a proper living situation and, you know, proper housing, food, so on and so forth. Because the apricorns, that's what they are. Oh. Because, yeah, the interior of apricorns kind of are terrible. And so, like, you can use them for transporting your monsters, you know, over the course of a day or two. But if you want them to actually stick with you for, like, a journey, you have to either upgrade your apricorns so they're not garbage. Or, you know, just make them love you enough that it's worth it. And, like, really make the player not work for everything, but it take everything that everybody takes for granted and make it have more, like, immediate meaning. So, yeah, town builder, monster taming game? Yeah, kind of. And so, like, eventually you actually do get enough resources that you straight up have, like, a Pokemon Center. And so suddenly, you don't really need as many potions as much, and this lets you range out more, because you're not constantly just trying to get resources. You've got the, you know, you've already got what you need. And so you can start going further out, go into deeper caves, range out further, focus on other things than just, like, keeping your Pokemon up to snuff. Because, you know, maybe if you leave them injured for too long, they actually do get pissy and just peace out. Because they don't want to deal with somebody that's not taking care of them. Because I think that could be really interesting and could potentially force you to have, like, a much... a much more... I don't want to say, like, a closer bond with the Pokemon that you do have. Because, like, I'll be honest, I do like the Pokemon that I catch. You know, I kind of have that bond there. But there's still somewhat of a feeling of just, like, yeah, but it's just my fight monster. I don't really spend too much time thinking about their wants or needs or... or, like, sticking around. Whereas, like, I really remember my first monster in Digimon World 1. Because I somehow managed to turn it into a Metal Mamemon, which was, like, unthinkable at the time, question mark? Because, like, straight up, I was playing on my neighbor's PS1, and he was so mad that I managed to get, like, ultimate before him. And he'd been playing the game nonstop, and I just, like, started a new save file and got a Metal Mamemon right off the bat. That he straight up yoinked my save file and took it for himself. This is reminding me of Kindred Fates, which I'm waiting for impatiently. I'm looking forward to that one. I don't know how it'll go. But I would love to see, you know, Pokemon Team take their absolutely massive budget and just fund some kind of crazy new age monster collection something or other. Yeah, a Pokemon game where catching a Pokemon actually helps your village would be cool. Yeah, because, like... it always bugs me that Pokemon are always sheerly judged for their practicality in combat. And that feels like such a waste of, like, what Pokemon are supposed to be for. And so I got really excited in... was it X and Y? A couple of different ones. I think even the most recent one, to some degree, you could, like, ride them, for example, and that was cool. Another one would straight up be, like, a Pokemon-style Metroidvania. Very much like Monster Sanctuary, but it looks nicer and has, like, deeper mechanics to it. Where, say you see, like, a waterfall, and you think, oh, I need a water Pokemon, but you can't just roll in with a Goldeen. Goldeen can't go up a waterfall. You gotta find a water Pokemon that can actually go up the waterfall. You got to go catch them and use them to unlock new areas and explore and so on and so forth. Or say, yeah, you need new equipment, you have to find a fire type and a steel type, for example, that can actually do the work. Because, you know, you're just some kind of weak trainer kid. There's no way you're going to be forging weapons or armor or anything like that. Yeah, grass for farming. Yeah, exactly. And maybe even there's some kind of, like, wild combos that let you do just crazy stuff. I don't know. I just feel like the standard monster collection formula gets kind of boring. There've been a couple of monster collection likes that came out recently. And so I got really into Nexomon and Nexomon Extinction. Mainly Nexomon Extinction. I haven't played base Nexomon yet. But Nexomon Extinction was wild, mainly only because of the story. The rest of it was extremely boring and generic. But I absolutely adored this story. But conversely, there's a... What was there? There's a game called Koromon that a lot of people are kind of saying, like, hey, Koromon's good. And I'm like, eh. Hey, we got a scrap helmet. I'm still shirtless, by the way. But yeah, I've got an overshirt, but that's not enough. I guess I'll grab the tools as I go by just so I don't have to make them. Basically, have them, find them in what they'd be able to do and live at, and not just based on type. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, Michokin a fire type, maybe a steel type for forging. Yeah, you know, like, really go out of your way to have to look for interesting, monsters and how they can actually help your base and or town expand. Because currently it's just all based on, like, alright, you grab the Pikachu because it does the Thunderbolts and destroys the water gym. Because the more I play Pokemon, the less I kind of care about Pokemon. Which sucks. Because, like, I want to care about it more, not less. I guess I should just teleport. Why am I walking? Let's just go deliver some things, seeing as I'm buried. I think this will be the last of this game that I play for today. I'm enjoying it, but I'm starting to find the limit of the early access, like the... Let's see. I guess what makes it good? Question mark? I don't know. I'm trying to put into words, but mostly it's starting to become repetitive, and I'd like to do other things. Yeah, I'm running out of stuff to do. I don't know, do you guys ever get this feeling where, like, I've solved this game? You know, I've seen that more or less this is all that there is to do, and I'm sure there's more that I could do, but it's going to be more of the same. This is something I've been having a lot of trouble with, actually, lately. The feeling of, like, alright, I've played 3 hours of this game, and I'm sure there's more to do and more to see, but when it boils down to it, I've seen all that there really is to see, and then everything past this point is just repetition. Yeah, especially in this genre. Yeah. And that usually for sandbox games, the way they make this more interesting as you go further in is just by making it harder and harder to get the next tier of resources, so you have to work harder and harder towards it. Which I think can work fine, especially if, like, you're playing in multiplayer or something. And I think that's it. That one of the true tests of making a good survival sandbox game is to have other people playing with you, or to be Subnautica and have a linear narrative that you're constantly pushing towards and then finishing. Subnautica also managed to get around it a little bit by giving you more interesting tools the further in you go. Namely, bigger and better submarines. So you start just being able to swim around, and then eventually you get the Seamoth, and then eventually you have the Cyclops and the... I forget the name of the the... Is it the sea prawn? Or whatever? Everything works. Go to my shelter and move one of the bookshelves. You'll see a passage to a hidden room. There you'll find a project to build a device that'll help you read the signal. Where can I build it? Your camp will be a perfect place. Come back to me once you've done everything. I'll help you analyze the data. Okay, be back soon. See, Subnautica and Green Hell were such good survival games. I haven't played Green Hell yet. I should. Wait, did I get it? Oh, hi. Oh, this is the secret room. I don't need any more of these resources. Hey, Green Hell had some good recent updates. Maybe I'll dive into it. It seems like the kind of thing that I'd want to play multiplayer. I do like the fast travel in this one, but I kind of wish I could just fast travel between all nodes. Fallout style. Gosh, I really should see if the Fallout modding scene has come up with anything worthwhile and new and maybe get back to it at some point. Because it's been a while since I've done a Never Leave Blanks series, and maybe it would be a good time. Okay, blueprint. Navigator. So we need metal, chips, and brown whatevers. Okay, that should be doable. Let's see. Brown chip requires copper. Cool. Well. Oh, I need a third. For whatever reason, I was assuming it would be 2. I've built a navigator. And I'll put it there. Quest updated. Talk with Rusty. What does it do? Huh. Navigator. Righto. I Fallout RimWorld. I think if I play RimWorld again... Oh, man. Fallout RimWorld. Okay, so... When you said that, I was thinking of, like, RimWorld, but kind of Fallout-y. But if I could play Fallout 4, but it plays exactly like... if it has all of the base management and building and survival... I guess it is survival management. But plays like Fallout 4, but has the core mechanic. Yeah, Fallout 4 playstyle, RimWorld setup, and goals. If you could combine those two games together, that you would be near perfect. Everything's ready. Exact location's marked on your map. You can go there to fix the second oxygen filter. Good luck. Okay, so what this will do is unlocks the next region for me to go to. That's cool and all, but I think I'm bored. I might come back to this later, probably when it's done. But for now, at least, I don't know. This is good fun all the same. That's the dream, ain't it? Oh, man. That is absolutely the dream.